Ladies and gentlemen, our topic today is this: you lack consistency, not ability. Now, isn't that an interesting thought? You lack consistency, not ability. Let that sink in for a moment. How many of you have ever felt that you're not good enough? That you don't have what it takes to achieve your dreams? Well, I'm here to tell you that more often than not, it's not your ability that's holding you back. It's your consistency. You see, success isn't about doing extraordinary things. It's about doing ordinary things extraordinarily well, day in and day out. It's about showing up, not just once, not just when you feel like it, but every single day. That's the secret sauce, folks. That's what separates the achievers from the dreamers. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met a young man who dreamed of becoming a successful entrepreneur. He had all the ideas, all the passion, all the drive you could ask for. He'd start a project with incredible enthusiasm, work on it for a few weeks, maybe even a couple of months. But then, inevitably, he'd lose steam. He'd get distracted by a new idea, or he'd get discouraged by a setback, and he'd abandon ship. This went on for years. He jumped from idea to idea, project to project, always starting strong, but never seeing anything through to completion. And you know what? He was miserable. He felt like a failure. He thought he didn't have what it takes to be successful. But here's the truth. This young man didn't lack ability. He had plenty of that. What he lacked was consistency. He lacked the discipline to stick with one thing long enough to see results. And that, my friends, is a common story. It might even be your story. Now let's talk about why consistency is so crucial. You see, success is rarely the result of one big action. It's the cumulative effect of small actions repeated day after day. It's like building a brick wall. One brick on its own doesn't amount to much. But one brick laid every day without fail, before you know it, you've got yourself a wall. That's how success works. That's how personal growth works. That's how a meaningful change happens. It's not about making huge leaps. It's about taking small steps consistently. Think about it. If you want to get in shape, is it better to work out for 5 hours once a month or for 30 minutes every day? If you want to write a book, is it better to write 50 pages in one sitting and then not touch it for weeks? Or to write 1 page every single day? The answer is clear, isn't it? Consistency beats intensity every time. Why? Because consistency compounds. Each small action builds on the last, creating momentum, creating habits, creating results. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Jim, consistency is hard. It's boring. It's not exciting. And you're right, consistency isn't always exciting. It's not always fun. But you know what is exciting? Results, progress, achievement. And those things only come through consistency. This thing about consistency. It's a skill. It's something you can develop, something you can get better at over time. Just like any other skill, it takes practice. It takes commitment. It takes a decision to show up, even when you don't feel like it, even when you can't see immediate results. Let me share another story with you. I once knew a woman who decided to learn to play the piano. Now, she wasn't naturally gifted at music. She didn't have perfect pitch or innate rhythm. But what she did have was consistency. She committed to practicing for 30 minutes every single day, no matter what. At first, it was tough. Her fingers felt clumsy on the keys. The music sounded more like noise than melody. But she kept at it day after day. She showed up and put in her 30 minutes. After a month, she could play a simple tune. After 3 months, she was tackling more complex pieces. After a year, she was giving small performances for friends and family. Was she a virtuoso? No. But she had achieved something remarkable through sheer consistency. Now imagine if she had approached piano like many of us approach our goals. Imagine if she had practiced for 5 hours one day, then not touched the piano for a week. Then maybe another 3-hour session followed by 2 weeks of nothing. Do you think she would have made the same progress? Of course not. This is what I mean when I say you lack consistency, not ability. Most of us have the ability to achieve amazing things. We have the capacity to learn, to grow, to create, to succeed. What we often lack is the consistency to see it through. So, how do we develop consistency? How do we cultivate this crucial skill? Well, let me share with you a few strategies that I've found helpful over the years. First, start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick one area, one habit, one goal to focus on. Make it so small that it seems almost ridiculous not to do it. Want to start exercising? Don't commit to an hour at the gym every day. Start with 5 push-ups. Want to eat healthier? Don't overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start by adding 1 vegetable to your dinner plate. The key is to make it so easy that you can't say no. Because here's the thing, the hardest part of any task is starting. Once you've started, it's much easier to keep going. So make starting as easy as possible. Second, focus on systems, not goals. Goals are great for giving you direction, but systems are what gets you there. A goal might be to lose 20 pounds. A system is planning your meals in advance and going for a walk every evening after dinner. A goal might be to write a book. A system is sitting down to write 500 words every morning before breakfast. Systems are about the process, the daily actions that move you forward. When you focus on the system, the goals take care of themselves. Third, track your progress. There's something powerful about seeing your consistency in black and white. It could be as simple as marking an X on a calendar for every day you complete your chosen action, or you could use a habit tracking app on your phone. The method doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a visual representation of your consistency. This serves 2 purposes. 1, it provides motivation. As you see those X's adding up, you'll be inspired to keep the streak going. 2, it provides accountability. If you miss a day, you'll see that gap, and it'll motivate you to get back on track. 4, prepare for obstacles. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. Life happens. There will be days when your routine gets disrupted. The key is to plan for these disruptions in advance. If you normally work out in the evening, but you have a dinner engagement, plan to work out in the morning instead. If you usually write at home, but you're traveling, have a plan for how you'll write on the road. Remember, the goal is progress, not perfection. One missed day doesn't negate your consistency. What matters is that you get back on track as quickly as possible. 5th, and this is crucial, be patient. Consistency takes time to show results. It's like planting a tree. You don't see the growth day by day, but over time, the results are undeniable. Trust the process. Trust that your consistent actions are making a difference, even if you can't see it yet. Now let's talk about why so many of us struggle with consistency. One of the biggest reasons is that we're too focused on motivation. We think we need to feel motivated to take action. But here's the truth. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. If you wait until you feel motivated to act, you'll never be consistent. Successful people, consistent people, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They take action whether they feel like it or not. They understand that action often precedes motivation, not the other way around. Think about it. How many times have you dreaded going to the gym, but once you got there and started working out, you felt great? How many times have you procrastinated on a task, but once you finally sat down to do it, you got into a flow and it wasn't nearly as bad as you thought it would be? That's because action creates momentum. Action creates motivation. So stop waiting to feel motivated. Start acting, and the motivation will follow. Another reason we struggle with consistency is that we're too focused on the outcome. We want results, and we want them now. But success doesn't work that way. Success is a process, not an event. It's the result of consistent, repeated actions over time. This is why so many people give up on their goals. They take action for a week, maybe 2, and when they don't see immediate results, they quit. They think it's not working, but here's the thing. Most worthwhile goals take time to achieve. You can't lose 50 pounds in a week. You can't build a successful business overnight. You can't master a skill in a day. Success is like a Chinese bamboo tree. For the first 4 years after you plant the seed, you see nothing. No sprout, no leaves, nothing. But you keep watering it, keep fertilizing it, keep believing in it. And then in the 5th year, something miraculous happens. The tree grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. Now, did the tree grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? Or did it grow 90 feet in 5 years? The answer, of course, is 5 years. Those first 4 years, when nothing seemed to be happening, the tree was developing a root system strong enough to support its rapid growth. That's how success works. That's how consistency works. You might not see results right away, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Every consistent action you take is strengthening your foundation, preparing you for growth. So don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Keep showing up, keep taking action, keep being consistent. The results will come. Let's talk about another crucial aspect of consistency, habits. You see, consistency is really about building strong, positive habits. And habits, my friends, are the building blocks of success. Think about it. What do you do when you wake up in the morning? Brush your teeth, take a shower, have a cup of coffee. These are habits. You don't have to think about them. You don't have to motivate yourself to do. You just do them automatically. Now imagine if you could make your success behaviors just as automatic. Imagine if working out or writing or learning or whatever it is you need to do to achieve your goals was as automatic as brushing your teeth. That's the power of consistency. That's the power of habits. You see, when you do something consistently, day after day, it becomes a habit. And once it's a habit, it becomes easy. It becomes automatic. You don't have to rely on willpower or motivation. You just do it because that's what you do. But here's the key, time to form. It's not enough to do something once or twice. You need to do it consistently over a period of time for it to become a habit. How long? Well, research suggests it takes anywhere from 21 to 66 days to form a new habit, depending on the complexity of the behavior and the individual. That's why so many people fail when they try to make changes in their lives. They don't stick with it long enough for the new behavior to become a habit. But if you can push through that initial period, if you can be consistent long enough for the new behavior to become automatic, that's when the magic happens. That's when consistency becomes effortless. Let me give you an example. Years ago, I decided I wanted to start exercising regularly. Now, I wasn't a naturally athletic person. I didn't particularly enjoy working out. But I knew it was important for my health and my energy levels. So I made a commitment. Every morning, right after I woke up, I would do 20 minutes of exercise. No excuses, rain or shine, feeling good or feeling lousy. I would do those 20 minutes. The first few weeks were tough. There were mornings when I wanted nothing more than to stay in bed. There were days when those 20 minutes felt like an eternity. But I stuck with it. I remained consistent. And you know what happened? After about 2 months, something shifted. I no longer had to force myself to exercise. It became automatic. In fact, on the rare occasions when I couldn't do my morning workout, I felt off. Something was missing from my day. That's the power of consistency. That's the power of habits. Now let's talk about another crucial aspect of consistency. Mindset. You see, consistency isn't just about what you do. It's also about how you think. It's about developing a consistent mindset. What do I mean by a consistent mindset? I mean a mindset that's focused on long-term success rather than short-term gratification. I mean a mindset that values process over outcome. I mean a mindset that understands the power of small, consistent actions. Developing this mindset is crucial because, let's face it, there will be days when you don't feel like showing up. There will be days when you can't see the progress you're making. There will be days when it all feels pointless. On those days, it's your mindset that will keep you going. It's your understanding of the power of consistency that will push you to take action, even when you don't feel like it. So how do you develop this mindset? Well, it starts with education. You need to understand why consistency is so important. You need to internalize the truth that small, consistent actions lead to big results over time. Read books on the subject. Study successful people and notice their habits of consistency. Surround yourself with people who value consistency and long-term thinking. But more than that, you need to practice. You need to experience the power of consistency for yourself. Start small. Pick one area of your life where you want to see improvement. Commit to taking one small action in that area every single day for the next 30 days. No matter what. It could be reading 10 pages of a book every day. It could be doing 10 push-ups every morning. It could be writing in a gratitude journal for 5 minutes before bed. The specific action doesn't matter as much as the consistency. Do this for 30 days, and I promise you, you'll start to see the power of consistency. You'll start to develop that consistent mindset. Now, let's address another important point. Some of you might be thinking, but Jim, I've tried to be consistent before. I've made commitments to myself and I've failed to follow through. How do I overcome that? That's a great question, and it brings us to another crucial aspect of consistency. You see, every time you make a commitment to yourself and fail to follow through, you erode your self-trust. You teach yourself that your commitments don't mean anything, and that makes it harder and harder to be consistent. On the other hand, every time you make a commitment and follow through, you build self-trust. You teach yourself that you're someone who does what they say they're going to do. And that makes consistency easier and easier. So how do you build self-trust? Well, it starts with making commitments you can keep. Remember what I said earlier about starting small? This is why it's so important. Don't commit to working out for an hour every day if you've never exercised regularly. Start with 5 minutes. Make it so easy that you can't fail. Then follow through, no matter what, even if you don't feel like it, even if you're tired, even if you're busy. Follow through. Do this consistently, and you'll start to build self-trust. You'll start to see yourself as someone who follows through on their commitments. And that will make it easier and easier to be consistent in all areas of your life. Let's talk about another important aspect of consistency. Environment. You see, your environment plays a huge role in your ability to be consistent. If your environment supports your goals, consistency becomes much easier. If your environment works against your goals, consistency becomes much harder. What do I mean by environment? I mean everything around you. Your physical space, the people you spend time with, the media you consume, the tools and systems you use. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to eat healthier. You commit to having a salad for lunch every day, but your fridge is full of junk food and there's a fast food restaurant right next to your office. How hard is it going to be to stick to your commitment? On the other hand, what if your fridge was stocked with fresh vegetables and you had a salad bar in your office cafeteria? Suddenly, being consistent with your healthy eating becomes much easier. The same principle applies to any goal. If you want to write consistently, create a dedicated writing space. If you want to exercise consistently, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to read consistently, keep a book with you at all times. Your environment should make your desired behavior the path of least resistance. It should make consistency easy and natural. This extends to your social environment as well. The people you spend time with have a huge impact on your behavior. If you're trying to be more consistent with your goals, but you're surrounded by people who don't value consistency or long-term thinking, it's going to be an uphill battle. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who value consistency, who are working towards their own long-term goals, who understand the power of small daily actions, it becomes much easier to maintain your own consistency.